Finn Mercer cursed as his ship's engines sputtered against the howling storm. The small cargo vessel wasn't built for atmospheric entry during blizzard conditions, but he'd had no choice. The fuel cells were failing, and this desolate ice planet was the only option within range. "Come on, baby, just a little longer," he muttered, wrestling with the controls as warnings flashed across his console. The ship bucked violently, throwing him against his restraints. When the port engine finally died, the ship spun into a spiral. Finn's stomach lurched as the ground rushed toward him. Impact came with a bone-jarring crash, metal tearing and sparks flying as the vessel carved a half-mile trench through the ice before stopping. He hung in his harness, blood trickling from a gash on his forehead. Outside wind screamed like a wounded animal. Temperature readings showed -73 degrees. His emergency suit would buy him hours, not days. Finn forced the cockpit door open and stumbled into the frigid wasteland. The blizzard whipped ice crystals against his faceplate, reducing visibility to mere feet. His emergency beacon activated with a soft chirp, but who would receive it on this forgotten rock? Keep moving, he told himself, trudging forward. Movement means life. After an hour, his legs grew leaden. Each step became a monumental effort. Suit's heating system was failing, the cold seeping into his bones. In the distance, strange crystalline formations loomed like the rib cage of some ancient beast. Shelter. It was his only hope. But halfway there, his strength gave out. Finn collapsed face first into the snow, his breath coming in painful gasps. The cold was no longer painful. It felt almost warm now, inviting him to sleep. He knew that was death calling. "Not like this," he whispered, but couldn't find the strength to rise. As darkness crept into the edges of his vision, a figure materialized from the swirling snow. Finn blinked, certain he was hallucinating. The silhouette drew closer distinctly. Feminine, but unlike any woman he'd seen before, she knelt beside him, pushing back her hood to reveal iridescent violet skin and eyes that glowed amber in the twilight. Not human, but something else entirely. She wore thin fabric that should have left her frozen in seconds, yet she showed no signs of distress. Without speaking, she pressed a hand to his chest, directly over his heart. Warmth radiated from her, touch spreading through his torso and out to his limbs like liquid sunlight. "You're not dying tonight," she said, her voice melodic with an accent he couldn't place. The translator in his suit struggled to process her language. "Who?" Finn tried to ask, but his lips were too numb. "I am Vera," she replied, slipping an arm under his shoulders and lifting him with surprising strength. "The hunters will find your crash site soon." "We must go, hunters," he managed. Vera glanced nervously at the sky. "Those who would kill us both." She guided him toward the crystal formations, her body radiating impossible heat against the deadly cold. Finn didn't understand who she was, or how she survived in this wasteland with such minimal protection. But as feeling returned to his extremities, he knew one thing with certainty. This strange woman had saved his life, and their story was just beginning. Vera moved with the confidence of someone who had traversed this frozen wasteland countless times. Every few minutes she would pause, head tilted as though listening to something Finn couldn't hear. Each time, her grip on his arm would tighten, before pulling him onward. "What are you listening for?" Finn asked, his voice stronger now that her strange warmth had revived him. "Patrol drones," she replied. "They scanned for heat signatures. My kind. ... We burned too brightly for them to ignore." They reached the crystal formations, which Finn now saw were ancient structures, perhaps a city once, now half buried in ice. Vera led him to what appeared to be a solid wall of ice, but pressed her palm against a specific spot. The surface rippled and parted, revealing a narrow passage downward. "How did you biometric lock?" she explained. "Designed to recognize my genetic signature." The passage descended steeply, carved steps leading deeper beneath the surface. As they descended, the bitter cold gradually gave way to a more tolerable chill. Bioluminescent fungi lined the walls, casting an ethereal blue glow over their path. "This was once a research outpost," Vera said, "before the purge." They emerged into a vast chamber. Unlike the ruins above, this space showed signs of habitation salvage technology. makeshift furniture, and a heating unit that glowed with the same strange energy that seemed to emanate from Vera herself. "You've lived here alone?" Noticing small touches that suggested years of solitude, handmade trinkets, wall markings tracking time, Vera nodded. 8 planetary cycles, I was ... discarded. She said the word with such calm detachment that Finn felt a pang in his chest. Before he could ask more, a distant mechanical whine echoed from above. "They've found your ship," Vera whispered, her amber eyes widening. "We don't have much time." 3 days passed in the underground sanctuary. Finn had managed to salvage some equipment from his crashed ship during a brief excursion. Guided by Vera through sensor-blind pathways she knew by heart, the patrol drones had intensified their mechanical screams, now a constant above them. "They've never been this persistent before," Vera said. Studying a makeshift scanner she had assembled from parts Finn had retrieved, "They usually give up after a few sweeps." Finn looked up from repairing his emergency beacon. "They're after me, aren't they? I shouldn't have come here." Vera shook her head, her luminescent eyes troubled. "No, it's different this time. They're not just searching, they're calling for something." She hesitated, then pulled aside the fabric at her neck, revealing a pattern embedded in her violet. Skin geometric shapes that seemed to pulse with inner light. "I wasn't just discarded," she explained. "I was condemned. My creators designed me as a bridge between species. Half of my genetic structure is from my people, the Lumina. The other half..." She looked directly at Finn. ... is human. Finn stared. "In disbelief, that's impossible. Humans haven't been in this sector for centuries." Vera finished. "The Lumina are patient. They collected genetic samples during early Earth explorations. They created hybrids like me to understand human adaptability, human emotions, human warmth." "The warmth," Finn whispered, understanding now why she radiated heat in this frozen world. "My body temperature runs higher than pure Lumina. I feel more intensely. I question orders. All traits they deemed problematic." Her voice turned bitter. "When the experiment was deemed a failure, I was to be terminated. I escaped instead." Heavy silence fell between them, broken only by the distant drone of hunters above. "Why are they so determined now?" Finn finally asked. Vera's expression changed, vulnerability crossing her features. "Because your proximity has activated dormant genes in my system. The moment I touched you to save your life, my body began changing. The Lumina can sense it." "Does that mean for us?" "It means," Vera said solemnly. "They'll never stop hunting us now." The chamber shook as something heavy landed on the surface above. Dust and ice particles rained down from the ceiling. "Sentinel class," Vera whispered. "They've escalated the hunt." Finn had spent the past day helping Vera modify the communication. A ray from his ship. They could boost the signal enough they might reach a passing freighter. It was a desperate plan, but their only hope. As they worked side by side, Finn couldn't help noticing the changes in Vera. The glow beneath her skin had intensified. Her movements were more fluid, her reactions quicker. Sometimes when their hands touched, he felt a strange resonance, like their heartbeats synchronizing. "The human part of me is becoming more dominant," she explained when she caught him watching her. "Your presence is like a key unlocking something dormant." Another impact rocked the chamber. A crack formed in the ceiling, a thin line of frost spreading like a spider's web. "They're going to break through," Finn said, his voice tight. Vera abandoned the communication array and moved to a hidden panel in the wall. She extracted a thin circlet, made of the same material as the crystal formations above. "This is a synaptic bridge," she said. "Created for the final phase of the hybrid experiment intended to merge consciousness between species." "You want to merge our minds?" Finn asked, alarmed. "Not fully," she assured him, "but enough to share strengths. My knowledge of this world, your human adaptability. Together we might survive what comes next." Finn hesitated only briefly. Vera had saved his life, shared her sanctuary, revealed her deepest secrets. Trust had built between them, unexpected but undeniable. "Do I?" "Do?" he asked, She placed the circlet on her head, then took his hands. Just focus on me. Our connection will do the rest. When their fingers intertwined, a surge of energy flowed between them. Finn gasped as memories not his own flashed through his mind, falling from a ship as a child, years of loneliness, the wonder of discovering beauty, even in desolation. And he knew she was seeing his memories to his family back on Earth. His reasons for becoming a cargo pilot, his dreams of exploration. As the connection deepened, the chamber's lights flickered. Ancient systems dormant for centuries hummed to life around them, responding to their bonded energy. It's working, Vera whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. The facility is recognizing us as authorized users. A holographic map appeared, revealing something neither had expected: a hangar containing a small ship, hidden in the deepest level of the facility. The Sentinel's drill punctured the ceiling just as Finn and Vera reached the hidden hangar. Ice and debris crashed down, followed by mechanical limbs and glowing sensors. "Run!" Finn shouted, pulling Vera toward the ship-hand elegant vessel of unfamiliar design, but unmistakably built for space travel. The Sentinel unfolded itself, terrifying amalgamation of metal and synthetic tissue. Its core pulsed with the same energy as Vera's markings, but corrupted, twisted. Hybrid designation. 5 to 137, it intoned, its voice like ice scraping metal. "Return for decommissioning." "I have a name now," Vera called back, her voice steady, "and I choose freedom." Their mental bond still hummed between them, allowing Finn to understand the ship's controls as Vera's knowledge flowed into his mind. He initiated the startup sequence, while Vera accessed a control panel near the hangar doors. The Sentinel lunged, mechanical limbs extending. Finn threw himself in its path using knowledge from Vera's combat training that now resided in his mind. He dodged with newfound grace, striking at vulnerable junction points he somehow knew to target. Vera slammed her hand onto the panel. Ancient engines roared to life, the hangar doors grinding open to reveal a launch tunnel leading upward. Finn, now. He disengaged from the Sentinel and sprinted for the ship. The machine followed, but Vera had one final surprise. She triggered the facility's self-defense systems dormant for centuries, but now responding to her hybrid command code's energy. Barriers sprang up, slicing through the Sentinel's limbs. It shrieked, a sound no purely mechanical being should make. They reached the ship together, sealing the hatch as the Sentinel breached the final barrier. The engines fired, pushing them into the launch tunnel as the facility began to collapse. Behind them, will it follow? Finn asked, as they burst through the ice into the storm-dark sky. Not this one, Vera said, watching the facility implode beneath them, but there will be others. As they broke atmosphere, stars welcomed them, countless possibilities stretched before them. Their bond continued to hum between them, no longer requiring the circlet to maintain. "Where will we go?" Vera asked, her hand finding his. "Your people may not accept what I am. Mine will never stop hunting us." Finn smiled, squeezing her hand. "Then we'll find our own people. There must be others. Like us, bridges between worlds." Vera's luminescent eyes softened. "How can you be so certain?" "Because in all the vastness of space, the universe brought us together," he said. "That can't be mere chance." As the ice planet shrank behind them, Vera allowed herself to hope for the first time in 8 long years. Whatever came next, she was no longer alone. Neither was Finn. Together, they set course for the distant stars, a human and a hybrid, carrying within them the promise of something new, a connection that transcended species and might someday bridge to worlds.